Hey guys, so today I'm going to travel to Karura Forest and I want to tell you guys a story. It's the story about why I'm in Kenya and why I'm making YouTube videos. But first it's probably best if I tell you what I was doing before. I've been super lucky to have a good education and good job prospects growing up. I've just come into Java House in the Sarat Centre to have coffee and a juice. I studied law and then I got a job at the Bank of England and then I became a management consultant for one of the biggest management consultancies in the world. Cheers. Great. I got to work with super smart people and solve challenging problems. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. How much is that? 200. Yeah. I was good at it. I did really well. I got promoted. I was even put in charge of other people. So it was great. But after a while, I felt like I could do more. So I thought that by moving countries, that would make me happy. So I asked my boss if I could move to New York. So in February 2016, I got on a flight and moved to New York. It was a huge leap of faith. I'd never been to New York before, but I just decided that was the time to do it. It's just that when I got there, I just had such crazy expectations for myself because I'd been top rated in London, where I'd started my career. I thought that when I went to New York, I was going to take over. I was going to become a partner in 5 years. They say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Anywhere! Well, I thought that that's what I wanted. It's a little cafe that they have in here. I realized when I got there that it wasn't really what I wanted. I also realized that my expectations of what it was going to be like were completely different from what it ended up being, but I didn't feel like I belonged as part of the culture there. It was around this time that I had an idea for an app that I wanted to build. I wasn't really doing very well in New York work-wise for my career. I didn't feel like it was going very well. So I decided that I was going to just move back to Scotland to build this app. I had never written any software before and I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I just thought if I give it a shot, maybe it'll work. What is there to lose? In September 2017, I packed up my bags and I flew back to Scotland to live in my mum's basement. It was a big decision at the time, but I thought when I'm 70 years old and I'm looking back, thinking about my life, do I want to regret not giving it a shot? When I looked at it like that, it was an easy decision. More coffee. By the time I got home, I was very excited. Just to put this in context, when I left London to move to New York, I had about £12,000 worth of debt. When I moved to New York, I managed to pay back all of that debt, plus I managed to save around £15,000, which was incredible. At that time I thought, well, if I move home to Scotland and I live in my mum's basement, which I was fortunate to be able to do, at least I could give it a year to try and make this new company work, this idea that I had. And I did it. I moved home. For 2 years, I wrote some software, which I believe was incredible. However, no one ever had the opportunity to use it because I didn't really tell anyone about it. I just sat there building a product that ultimately no one ever used. But I had such conviction that it was going to work. And then it just, I just don't know what happened. It was a great idea. Maybe I'll tell you guys about that idea in another video, but I just took the wrong approach, and I spent the whole of the £15,000 that I'd worked so hard to save. I spent it all over those 2 years. And by the end of 2 years, I was a 31-year-old man living in my mum's basement, unemployed. I had long hair, a long beard, and I just thought, what have I done? What have I done? That was a pretty low point, I must admit. I have never felt so defeated. I had all of these expectations for myself yet again, and they hadn't been achieved. I'd taken the wrong approach. I'd sat in a silo and I hadn't spoken to potential people who could be my customers. I hadn't spoken to anyone to see whether they were willing to pay for it. Having depleted all of my savings, I ended up getting a job again. I actually, fortunately, was able to get a contracting job for the same company that I worked for previously in London and in New York. Looks like the caves and waterfalls are 1.5 kilometers away. There's no trash can around here. I don't want to litter, so I'm going to put it in my bag. Simple. Because I was doing contracting for 2 years, I was earning £850 a day, which I know is an insane amount of money. So I took the knowledge that I learned from building software and I combined that with the experience I had in my law degree and regulating banks, and I worked really hard over 2 years building some amazing technology products for some banks, and the work was super interesting, most engaging projects that I'd been on since my career began. And I ended last year in November at a crossroads thinking, is this what I want to do for 2022? Or did I want to take another risk and go on a different path? The thing is, it's never the right time to take a risk, and it's never the right time to do something that's out of the ordinary. And most people just take the easy path. I was earning a lot of money last year and I got offered to come back for 2022, and I'd still be earning a lot of money working on interesting things, but I just had this urge to go on a different track that might seem strange to people, but I don't know why. I just wanted to... Now, I know I was super fortunate because I'd had the ability to save up some money. When I left my job in November of 2021, I had around £50,000 saved. So I thought to myself at the time, why don't I just use some of this money to try to have a greater impact than the one that I was having working for these large companies? Look, what I would have been building, it wouldn't have been mine. I've always loved YouTube, I've always watched YouTube, and I've always wanted to tell stories. And I just thought, if I give it a year, if I just try this, then maybe I can tell some stories and connect with people and re-energize this entrepreneurial spirit, which I knew that I had, and I didn't want to let the failure of the app that I'd been building stop me from taking another chance. 1 kilometre to the waterfall and the caves. I made a decision in late December that it was more important to take a few steps backward in order to try to build something for myself than stay on the safe path, which might have lots of prestige around it, and it might look great to your friends to tell them how much you're earning. But often following your gut and deciding to do the thing that seems crazy to everyone else but makes perfect sense to you is the right thing to do to make something that's valuable to people, that means something to other people. You need to break boundaries, you need to try new things, you need to test yourself, and you also need to push the boundaries of creativity to create something that people haven't seen before, that people haven't experienced. Ownership. Ownership is the most important thing. There's a book by a guy called Nassim Taleb. He has a few books. One of his books is called Skin in the Game. When you own something, you get all of the upside, but you also get all of the downside if it isn't successful. When you don't own something, you get the upside, but you don't get any of the downside if it's not successful. And that might seem like a good thing. Anytime that I've been in a situation when I haven't had skin in the game, it always makes me feel kind of uncomfortable because I don't own the thing that I'm making. So I felt so happy when I was building this app that no one ever used. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful, but I needed to fail at that to learn some lessons. Even when I'm earning a large amount of money at a company, working on a product that's interesting, because I don't own it, I don't feel a spiritual connection to the thing that I'm building. And I feel kind of empty at the end of the day. I don't want to keep working on it until 11 o'clock at night because I don't own it. And ever since I quit my job in November to start this YouTube channel and fly here in January, I felt alive again. I feel like I have a spiritual connection to the creative process that I'm going through to make these videos. And I feel a deep connection to all of the people that are watching. I wake up every morning and I decide this is the content that I think is going to be most interesting, most impactful for the people watching. And I'm learning from all of you guys watching these videos what I should be making. And it's exciting. You have a limited amount of time on this planet, so you need to make the most of what you're working on. Hey guys, I'm editing the video and I think it's probably best if I just draw you a picture. Let's start at the year 2010. This is when I graduated. I studied law. I did it probably because I thought it would impress other people. I didn't really know why I wanted to study law or what I wanted to do with it, but it sounded good. I worked in London up until 2016. During this time, all I was trying to do was impress others. In 2016, I moved to New York. I stayed there until the end of 2017. During this time, I learned to fail at small dreams. All I wanted was to get promoted. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. And then I realized that, you know, you can fail at doing something small. So I had an idea. And in 2017 and 2018, up until the end of 2018, let's call it 2019, I worked on an app. What I learned during this time: you can also fail at big dreams. Usually you fail at big dreams when you don't speak to people, and I didn't communicate. That's why I think I failed. I thought that if I just built something that everybody would want to use it, but that's never the case. You need to communicate and you need to make sure that you're creating value for other people. You need to let your idea confront the real world and see whether anybody's actually interested in the thing that you're creating. From 2019 to 2021, I worked combining the regulatory experience that I got during this time and the tech experience that I got during this time. And I combined them to work on reg tech. I learned during this time that you need to be practical. I knew from this experience that I hadn't saved enough money to keep going, and I spent all of my savings. So I thought during this time, let's save as much money as you possibly can during this period so that you can build up the reserves so you can take another shot at doing something entrepreneurial and owning something like I dreamt of doing during this time. In 2022, I'm doing YouTube. I learned from all of this stuff here. I learned that you need to communicate. I just started making videos. I just booked a flight and I thought I'm going to go to Uganda. I didn't know which videos I was going to make, but I just started making stuff and putting it out there for the world to see. And I tried to get better and better each day. What I'm learning here is that you need to keep making. Since I started YouTube, things have been going well. I had very little views for a while. Then I had a video that did well. Things dropped a little bit. And I had a big video which did very well, going to an interracial wedding. Then the numbers started to drop over time while I spent 5 months in Uganda. But I have noticed since I moved to Kenya that my numbers have started going back up in terms of views. I can't control any of this. This isn't within my control. But what I can control is that I need to keep making. You need to keep making and you need to keep communicating. And you need to keep doing that over and over again. I read every comment, I respond to every comment, and I'm learning, and I'm trying to get better. And I hope that sharing some of this experience with you guys, you'll learn something from this. There's one other thing I want to share. Nassim Taleb that I spoke about earlier has this concept of anti-fragility. And there's two graphs. One is fragile and one is anti-fragile. If you're fragile, you have a limited upside and a massive downside. If you're anti-fragile, you have a limited downside and an unlimited upside. Now here's the thing. Most people have a salary, income, and to impress other people, they spend money that they can't afford. When they spend all of this extra money, if they lose their job, they end up unable to pay for their mortgage, etc. So their downside is unlimited because they end up spending far too much money to impress people they don't like. What I try to do is be as anti-fragile as possible. I'm trying to not spend much money so that I have a limited downside. I'm risking my savings here for a long period of time. And I need to keep my costs as low as possible for as long as possible, in the hope that this will put me in a position where this channel becomes something a lot bigger than it is today. And the end outcome is that the upside is unlimited. On YouTube or other media like software, videos, these things are scalable. And these things are exponential. They don't grow in a straight line. They grow slowly over time, and then they grow like this. And so what I hope by making this YouTube channel is that I can create enough value with this small amount of savings that I have for a long enough period of time that enough people will find my content, that I'll be able to create enough value for as many people as possible. At some point in the future, this is 2022, I hope that by 2023, I begin to see an exponential growth in this YouTube channel. If it doesn't happen, I'll continue making videos. That's the faith that you need to have, that it will all work out in the end. As long as you continue making, keep making, and as long as you keep communicating with people, it's very likely that you will see this curve begin to go up over time. Anyway, I'm going to show you the caves and the waterfalls. Karura Forest is a awesome, beautiful place to go and walk around when you're in Nairobi. Oh. Well, I'm not planning on doing any of those things, which is good. Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so Karura Forest, waterfalls. I want to keep making these YouTube videos for as long as possible, and I really want it to work because it makes more fulfilling for me. I hope it's enjoyable for you guys. I said I'd give myself a year through, oh, it's a bridge. I said I'd give myself a full year of making as many videos as I could during 2022. It's growing much faster than I had originally expected. I think I saw actually that around 80% of the people, or 85% of the people that watch my videos on a regular basis actually haven't subscribed to the channel. It would really help, motivate me if if you watch my videos regularly to hit the subscribe button. That'd be cool. Yeah, so that's that. I'm still very glad that I didn't go back to do my job that I was doing the last 2 years, and that I came here, came to Uganda, that I came to Kenya. I took the risk to come to Karura Forest and make this video for you guys and all the other videos that I've made. So I'm not taking anything for granted, but I just hope that this becomes the channel that people can come to watch interesting, engaging content where I show places that people can go and do things, and that I can interact with people from around here. And I get to, I mean, what I've enjoyed the most is just showing the real Uganda, showing the real Nairobi. And I appreciate people saying in the comments that the content that I'm making is different from other Western people that come to Africa with an agenda. So we'll see. The other very exciting thing about doing something entrepreneurial, you don't know how big it's going to get, or you don't know whether it's going to succeed at all. And that's not for everyone. A lot of people like security, they like comfort, they like knowing predictability. They want to know that something is, whether it's going to work out or not. I always feel a bit uncomfortable when things are secure. I always feel a little bit like I'm not pushing my boundaries, or pushing or living my life to the full. So in some ways I'm quite enjoying not knowing whether this is going to work or not. I'm just loving the process of making videos, of going around, coming up with new ideas for videos to make, whether it's this one or going to village market like I did the other day, or meeting new people, deciding who to do videos with. I'm just really enjoying that process, and I'm going to keep going for as long as I possibly can with the savings that I have. I'm going to keep making videos for you guys, because it's you guys that really, it's you guys watching this that will allow me to continue making the videos by giving me your attention, and it's up to me to try to make as much value for you guys as I possibly can, so that you want to keep watching and I can keep creating. And yeah, it's like a virtuous circle. This is a bat cave, and I'm kind of freaked out. You know, we all worry about having expectations and things. I heard this quote once. It was, happiness equals reality minus expectations. And I think a lot of the time, the things that have made me unhappy, whether it's failing at an app, or when I went to New York to work there and it didn't work out the way I planned, it's when you have an expectation that the outcome is going to be something, and then it doesn't work out like that. Then you feel dissatisfied because you think you've made the wrong decision. I think that's the problem of living too much in the future. People live, either they live and dwell and complain on the past, or you live too far into the future and you think too much about the outcome. What it really comes down to is the process, the journey of building something. You can't just do nothing. So you should choose the most meaningful thing that you can think of. to do. But then if it doesn't have the impact or the result that you imagined, then it's important not to let that get you down. The joy for me in making these videos is the process of thinking about what I can make and then making it. But I have to live in the moment and not attach this to the outcome, and just enjoy little moments like watching those guys playing football as the sun goes down here in Karura Forest, and knowing that everything will turn out the way it's going to turn out. And yeah, I think they have a lily lake here as well that we haven't looked at yet at the Karura Forest. I'm not sure how I get through there though. Let's have a look. Beautiful, this place. This is the Lily Lake at Karura Forest in the middle of Nairobi. It's no wonder they call this city the green city in the sun. It's so green and beautiful. You've got Karura Forest. I can't wait to go and visit the national park. And it's just so peaceful out here. You can just have a few minutes or a few hours to think about what you want to do, and just reflect. I don't think enough of us take enough time to just really connect with what we're doing, what we're spending our time on, who we love, whether we're happy or fulfilled in our lives. And I think coming to somewhere like this allows you to have those moments that you need to just reconnect and re-examine how you're spending your time. It's been an awesome day for me to do exactly that. I just need to find my way out now. I hope that by sharing my story with you guys, it's helped you in some way think about your own decisions in life and your own perspective on your own life. And if I've helped one person out there either take a risk to do something that they want to do, or feel okay with the way that things are, because failure in one thing doesn't mean that you're never going to pick yourself back up and try something else. Or if you just think that you need to live a little bit more in the moment and just enjoy nature and getting outside. Or if I've inspired somebody to make a YouTube video and tell their story the way that I've done today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to keep making these videos for you, and I hope you keep liking them and watching them. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on my channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.